Everyone, Mark and Joey here on the Ultimate Sports Channel, and Joey, of course, ultimatesportschannel.com is the website. Head over there. Every day we've got a whole slew of new sports stories there, way more than we can cover. I think we do 30 posts a day from different sources around the sports world. So head over there. You also see our sponsors. We do have a special one that we put out ourselves, which is a free vacation, a free restaurant card, and a free travel savings card. You don't have to do anything to get this, guys. We've vetted it. We know it works. Just send us an email. Go to the sponsors page, send us an email. We'll send you the details, and you can pick that up. I mean, why not? It's of no charge to you. Joey, I also want to mention Patreon this week. We've been getting some feedback that some new people coming in through Patreon haven't seen enough of our show and that kind of thing. So what we're going to do is a change, and we're actually going to offer the subscription for free on Patreon right now.
Yeah, so you still go to patreon.com, create an account there, and then subscribe to our channel, Ultimate Sports Channel. But it will be a free subscription. We're just doing it so we can get your information. You get all the videos, and obviously now you're in on our site and know where it is. And then as we go forward, releasing more and more videos, you'll get them. But we might start charging in the future. But we want you to be able to see everything that we have right now. So you can go to patreon.com and find that there.
Yeah, and we want to have your contact info, because one thing is we like to send you some stuff about the show, but also hear feedback from you. And if you're part of the membership, you're getting the information from us every week. So head over to there, patreon.com /Ultimate Sports Channel, or search Ultimate Sports Channel, whichever works easiest for you, and come and see us over there on Patreon. Also want to mention Roku. We haven't specifically talked about Roku for a while, but that's where we actually started. Sometimes it's bad to be first up. But Roku, all of you following us there, we appreciate it so much. But we will ask that when you get to the channel, before you go and look at any videos, hit the star key and allow you to leave us a review or a rating. And it's really important for us to, within the Roku community, to have those ratings there. So if you wouldn't mind doing that before you get into the videos or exiting, you can do it there as well. So we really appreciate it if you wouldn't mind providing us with that feedback. So Joey, we're going to start in the PGA show. Kind of been slow in the last little while. Of course, they're overseas. A new thing actually for the PGA. Explain what they're trying to do there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not much new things. It's been going on for quite a while. Obviously, going to China and Japan, we've seen that definitely with the top players going over there. They added a couple more events this year, but we already have known of the early start for the PGA Tour season, and that's continued with many events here in the States, a few over in Europe there, China. A lot of the big guys were playing over in the European Tour, Race to Dubai as well, along with Rory McIlroy, John Rahm. But yeah, so obviously still lots of golf going on. Nothing crazy though, unless you're a European Tour fan, really.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of the U.S. guys are over there. This is the expansion of every sport now. NFL playing overseas, and now golf doing the same thing, really becoming an inclusive sport worldwide. Golf was already inclusive from the members on the PGA Tour, of course, but now getting over and playing a lot of events over there. But what I mean by kind of new, maybe new is the wrong word, is they're really bringing the exposure of these events out now. All the major U.S. guys are playing over there, trying to get TV going, trying to make that happen. Of course, wagering on the sport is huge, and overseas wagering is a huge hobby.
Yeah, I'd probably say there's been more history than people know, but obviously Tiger going over there for the first time this year probably drew as much attention as it could. Obviously, yeah, there had been some guys. The WGC event over there, they're very smart on the PGA Tour's part, really. They put out the biggest purse of the year over there. They put a WGC event over there. They put an event in Japan. They got Tiger to go to it. So, they really did a smart job of, scheduling and then marketing those events by getting the guys to go there with certain incentives. So that worked out very well. And then the last couple of weeks, really, Americans have kind of taken time off, but you've had guys on the PGA Tour playing, a lot of rookies, older veterans, and then the big Euro guys are playing in the last 3 weeks in the European Race to Dubai. So there's been lots of golf. It's just been on at like 4 in the morning, so you probably missed most of it.
Well, and let's say there was big happenings this week. First of all, let's talk about a young guy who's also, a huge success in the sport already, John Rahm. And this week, this is another thing. These points count over there. He just took over #1 European this week with his victory, and that's a pretty exciting story. Young guy who's taken over Europe, and that's fantastic to see. This guy's a great golfer.
Well, yeah, he won what would be the FedEx Cup over here in America. He won their Tour Championship and their FedEx Cup, so he won both, which is very, very cool. Obviously, he's confident over there. That's where he's gotten most of his wins. He needs to somehow bring it to the States. I think there's certainly a comfort zone for him over there. Obviously, he probably believes he's the best besides really Rory's his top competition. After that, I do agree with him. If that's the way he's feeling, it's true. He is probably the best European golfer right now. He definitely has played a lot of golf, the most consistent golf, so it's cool to see him win again. Hopefully he can have a breakout season in the States, though. I like to see him get a major, some big events, really put himself more in the win category this year. But yeah, great win for him. Congratulations. It capped off what was a good season for him, obviously, with an Irish Open victory earlier this year as well.
Well, Joey, it's been difficult for some Europeans to win in the States. It's interesting what can happen overseas. This happens with the Ryder Cup. This happens with the President Cup. The home field advantage is really big, and Rahm's done the same thing. Remember, Colin Montgomery was #1 in Europe for so many years. I think he won the money title 10 years and could not win in the U.S. Lee Westwood, who was right at the top of the money levels in Europe for many, many years, could not win in the U.S. So it would be good to see some of these guys that play more on the Europeans. Some Europeans have actually come over and become almost Americans on the tour, and they've won. But guys coming over that play both tours would be good to see some of those victories coming out. So anyway, great event, #1 in the world. Nice to see those Europe. Great to see a young guy take over there. The other thing that was amazing to me, Seve Ballesteros, he really put a mark on the golf world for a guy who obviously had a great career but died very young. I think early 50s of brain cancer. And of course, Rahm is a Spaniard, so he was in tears talking about Seve. And I think this is amazing. All these years have gone by, and Seve's name is always there when any of the Spanish golfers, especially, but even Europeans, talk about really what got them into the game of golf. What really brought Europe players to the forefront was Seve Ballesteros.
Well, I think there's definitely that, and obviously, sadly, kind of when people die, you leave a bit of a longer legacy the way he did. Obviously, he was so young when he passed, but obviously, yeah, he was probably the first one that was really, really huge coming over here. I mean, you had Gary Player too, but he was from South Africa. But being from Spain, a big European country, I'm sure it was a big deal for them to see him have success over in the U.S. and obviously got him all into the game of golf. And obviously, I think also included coming over here full time on the PGA Tour, playing a lot more over here, balancing both schedules more, not just coming over for the big events, but playing here in the States. So yeah, he had a fancy, crazy style of playing too, which was very iconic to a lot of people. People talk about it all the time, an iconic swing. And I think, like I said, sometimes, sadly, when you pass earlier, you leave on a bigger legacy. And that's what I think's happened here. It's so sad when he died so early in his life with cancer. And it just probably propelled these guys even more now to go live on in his name. So it's very cool.
And he also mentioned Sergio Garcia, which I thought was pretty cool too. They're kind of contemporaries, but not really. Sergio's like almost 20 years older than Rahm.
Yeah, I wouldn't really
follow
in his footsteps.
No, but not his attitude on the course, but his success,
right.
What he brought to the game. Again, bringing the European game into America, those kind of things. No, not acting like a child, which has been a little bit of a trend in his history, which is too bad. But anyway, a great story to see that happening. Now, lots of other stuff happening in golf, and one of our favorite golfers, I think, is finally. He's reaching the age where he's not going to be incredibly successful on PGA Tour any longer. I don't think he's going to go to the Champions Tour, but Phil has taken on the Jack and Arnie role of actually hosting a tournament now. So they think that's cool of him coming into that time of year to stay in. It's going to be the American Express, formerly known as the Desert Classic. So it's a very cool part for Phil to get involved. I think you're going to see him more involved in the media side of things as he gets a little older here.
Well, truthfully, he's behind Tiger. I mean, Tiger hosts like 4 or 5 events already. I mean, Tiger has his own event, the Hero World Challenge. He's already the guy for the Genesis Invitational at Riviera later in the year. I mean, Tiger's already put his name on a bunch of tournaments as the host. I'm forgetting the one or later in the year, the military one. I'm forgetting the name of it, but anyways, oh God, it's an insurance company. There's so many insurance companies, but people get what I'm saying. You'll know what I'm talking about. But it was held at Congressional later in the year. I forget the name of it. But anyways, Tiger's held 3 or 4, so it's about time Phil got involved in the event. And I think, this tournament's obviously always been one for Phil. It's out there in California. It's early in the year. It's the one where they play 3 different courses. He's always played it. You have Pro-Am partners, so I'm sure it's going to be lots of fun for him.
And he's won the tournament twice, it says here. So
yeah, he won the tournament twice. I mean,
great event for him to be part of.
And in hosting it, really all it does, I think, is give him a few more jobs to do that week, which is maybe have a party. And, since it's an amateur event as well, I think that's a perfect role for him.
Yeah.
I thought he would probably do the AT&T as well, which is another big pro-am event, although I guess Pebble Beach doesn't need a host. They host it themselves. But yeah, no, this is good. Early in the year, he's going to play. I don't know if you'll see more guys because he's hosting it, but I think what you'll see maybe is more amateurs, big name amateurs, maybe playing it because he's there and he can make some phone calls. But yeah, very cool. Like I said, Tiger hosts 4 or 5, so Phil finally getting in one. I think.
Well, Tiger did have 10 years of doing nothing else,
That's
so
what
he got a chance to get involved. Like Phil was still playing. Tiger was kind of a guy in his 40s and 50s because he didn't play for a decade. So anyway, that's great to see Phil get involved that way. 49 years old, man. It's just hard to believe that I've watched Phil play golf for that long. People talk about Tiger being a rookie. I actually watched Phil be a rookie. So I was 14 years old when Phil started on the PGA Tour, I think. So anyway, great to see, and we're looking forward to it. I think it's a great spot for him to get involved more and more. I think you will see him do a lot of stuff as an ambassador. I don't think he wants to play on the Champions Tour, maybe the majors. We'll see what happens with his game, but I think that's what we're looking at. Anyway, let's get back to the younger guys. And a big problem this week. Ricky Fowler just got announced the President's Cup. Got some kind of infection, has pulled out of the event, and I don't know what this is going to mean. They're talking about the fact that he should still be ready, but when you have an infection, you start getting on antibiotics, you don't know if you're really going to be ready.
Yeah, I think he's going to play. I think at the end of the day, he's more than just a player when it comes to the President's Cup. I mean, he's one of the few that take it as serious as the Ryder Cup on the American side. Obviously, they're so much better than internationals. Usually it's hard for them to get as motivated as the history and the battles they've had with Europe. But he's someone who's always repped the team. He's always, he's got the tattoo of USA. He'll cut USA into his hair. So I don't think it's much of an issue whether he's going to play or not. I think it's almost a lock unless he's completely sick. But from what I hear, he'll be fine. And I think he should be there. I mean, at the end of the day, I think you'll have him at least be a motivational piece to the team and pump guys up. And I think he has to play. He will play. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to do a lot to knock him out. He's someone who really wants to be there.
Yeah, he does. But, he hasn't played since Tour Championship. It's a long time.
A lot of guys, though, haven't played a whole lot.
Yeah, but you're sick on top of that. So it's going to be interesting to see. Let's stay with Ricky, actually. He got married.
Yeah, that's a while ago now. We've kind of missed it.
Because it was in the off-season.
I don't normally get involved in golfers' personal lives. Not talked about as much as some other celebrities, but he did get married. I'm sure that's a little bit nice.
Well, that's where he got the infection on his honeymoon. I don't know what happened, but that's where it happened. So anyway, it may be his personal life might be causing some issues in his golf life.
He was on his honeymoon in the same place of golf. I think it was in Mexico as the golf tournament. So I don't know, but anyways, congratulations to him. He should be able to calm down his life now and play some better golf.
We'll see. It wasn't the best year for him, that's for sure. Hey, listen, stick with Ricky one more time. Him and DJ playing in a pro member at the Floridian in Florida, playing with a number of amateurs out there. I have to say, this is where the PGA guys are very cool. Neither one of these guys have played in a long time. It's technically their off season, and there they are playing a pro-am in Florida. Obviously a big event for all of them to attend there, but still, golfers putting their time out with amateurs is amazing. You don't see that in any other sport. A lot of times they couldn't. Imagine playing football against amateurs. That would be a mess. So golf is the only one that could do that. But great for these guys to get out and play this event.
Yeah, I mean, I think, they all have stuff to do and they're promoting stuff. And I think they live in Florida. And part of it for these guys is like they haven't played, so they figure let's go get some round of golf in. Do this for, the course and the area. I think obviously a lot of these amateurs, the good thing about amateurs in golf, they're not crazy fans. They're guys who just golf, pay lots of money to play golf with you. It's an easy thing for them. But yeah, good for golfers. They do a lot. I mean, I'll shout out every sport. They all have their camps and their kids stuff and etc. And most of them can't actually, play their sport with an adult or something like that. But golf, you can. They always do a good job about it for sure.
Yeah, Joey, and we had an interesting tournament. Let's stay with the current golf. The past week here, a new winner, Duncan, who won the tournament. However, what was more interesting was the guy he beat after 2 victories in a row.
Yeah, he beat Brendan Todd, who's obviously on a hot streak right now. Not sure how long it will last for him. Hopefully a long time. But, he's in one of those runs where he's just playing great golf, and it's a good time of year for him to do it. It's a year to take advantage if you're a rookie. Or he's a second-time, newbie, I guess, because he was on tour, fell off tour, back on it now. So smart for him to take advantage of it. But yeah, 2 wins in a second. Can't complain about that after falling all the way off both major tours. So, golf is all about confidence. It tells you that you're one swing away from having it, you're one swing away from losing it. It's a crazy game for that reason alone. But good for him, and hopefully he keep it going, and good for the winner too. I know he's 30 years old, so that was his first win, so that's huge.
Well, it's interesting what happens with these guys, because you think that they shoot fantastic scores every day. They don't actually. He shot 61 on Saturday. That's what pros can do that's different from us amateurs. Well, not you can do that too, but for us amateurs to go along thinking, wow, these guys are so great. There's lots of weeks at 68, 69, 70, but then they bang in a 61, and that's how they win tournaments. They can actually go super low when they get their confidence up. So good for this guy to win this tournament, but a fantastic 3 weeks, 3 tournaments in a row with Todd winning. And amazing, you were mentioning he dropped off. He didn't just drop off. 2000th in the world. The guy was on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
You want to talk about dedication? That's dedication that most guys in sport would not take on following that. And here he is now, 2 wins and a second in his last 3 starts. So congratulations to both of those guys, actually. And Joe, that's going to wrap it up. A few more stories, but not all that. And, there is one more. The LPGA has got their new schedule coming out, going to be playing for way more money than they've ever played for. So, golf is just not growing on the men's side, which is great to see. The LPGA is picking up big sponsors, and they're going to have their largest purse payouts of ever in history coming up this year.
And their last event ended with a $1.5 million first place prize. So, that was their tour championship, so that's obviously way up, and then the whole next year's going up. So, it's good. I think they're in good areas. They're going over to China a lot. You talk about that. I mean, half their LPGA is respectively from Korea, China, along those lines.
Great golfers there.
They're very smart to play to what their tour is. And then you got some good American Canadians and Brooke Henderson, Lexi Thompson. And, they're getting what they need. They get good golfers that are also be able to be stars on their own, and they're going in good areas and making smart choices on where to have events. And, it's good to see for sure golf's just growing worldwide now. And I think the PGA's new commissioner, he's not involved in this, but it's kind of a trickle-down effect. They're just making smart moves on all tours. Doing a great job, and obviously having golfers that win a lot and have good personalities really helps their cause.
Yeah, without a doubt, and so that's great to see. That's it for the PGA this week. As we say, it's kind of the off-season with lots going on this week, and the President's Cup coming up, and so we'll be covering golf a lot in the next 3-4 weeks as that comes upon in Australia. So a big trip over for the Americans to play in the President's Cup. Going to be interesting. The only time the President's Cup's ever good is outside the U.S. In the U.S., they just crushed the world team, but maybe we're going to have a victory. It's been a long time coming.
We'll see. It's going to be hard sledding when you think of that. Ricky Fowler couldn't even make the American team. So when you think of stuff like that, it's going to be hard sledding, but you never know. You're going to have to have stuff go your way. You're going to have to find good parents on the international team. You're from so many different countries. You're just going to have to get guys that work together, and at the end of the day, if you can do that, you'll have a shot. If you don't, and it's a little tough to build team camaraderie, it'll be a struggle as usual. It's normally a little bit closer because Americans are tired than at home where they get the crowd on their side and the internationals feel overwhelmed and have never been in that position because normally at least half of them don't play in that big of crowds that you'd see at President's Cup on the regular basis. So, we'll see. I mean, they won one time in Australia. They're usually close when it's in international waters, but, finding pairings to go well together is going to be important. I think for
Ernie. So you're trying to say that the kangaroos are going to be the most interesting part of the President's Cup?
Let's hope not. I'm just saying you're going to need some help. You're going to need some help. You're going to need some Americans off their games because if you look at the
24 hours of being on a plane, maybe. Although a lot of the President's team got to do the same thing. A lot of the national team.
So we'll see. I tell you what, we'll get into it later when it's coming around 3 weeks' time. We'll do a show on it. But I think the biggest thing for Ernie Els this time is play young guys as much as you can. Stay away from Jason Day and Adam Scott all the time. They're just done. I think they're good contributors, but Adam Scott's not consistent enough. Jason Day is not. He plays them all the time normally, so I'd be cautious of playing those two. And
well, we know Jason Day is all about injury. If he's in great shape, obviously.
But he's not a good team player because he has a wild driver, so he can't be an alternate shot. Adam Scott can't be an alternate shot. They can only be in the 2 balls because they each have a weakness that is very high that they cannot be affecting the other player. So, really think about that when he's doing his picks is something important. Watch for the old guys. Don't play them in every single match.
Yeah, he will for sure because they garner the same respect as they do in other sports when you're an icon, and both of those guys have been that. Jason Day was number 1 in the world.
Then you'll lose.
Adam Scott has been around a long time. So, anyway, we're going to be following up on that, guys. And we want to mention that one Canadian, Adam Hadwin's on the team.
Yeah, Hadwin, I think will do a good job. I think he'll be really good in the alternate shot format, a very consistent ball striker, good putter. But see, that's the kind of stuff I think Ernie Els needs to really take into account when you get to the alternate shot is, it's not your superstars, because usually superstars are actually probably wild off the tee. They usually got a weakness, but they're so great when they're on. They need the freedom of the 4 ball. But something like the alternate shot, look for Hadwin probably to play both those sessions. I could think of Sunjay Im, who's an accurate hitter as well. Could play both those sessions. So I think the young guys might get in the alternate shot a little bit more than the older guys because they're a little bit more consistent and a little bit straighter off the tee. So we'll see going forward, though. Lots of questions for Ernie Els, but he got every country in there. You got Chile, you got South Africa, you got Korea, you got Canada. So you did a good job of really spreading the wealth of players.
Yeah. And I'm a little challenged how negative you are on old guys here today. So anyway, we're going to see what happens.
It's like Tiger. I swear to God, Tiger, if you should not play yourself more than twice, I think, if you're Tiger.
So it'll be fun. It'll be good to see. And our Canadians, Corey Connors, we thought was going to be on the team. They didn't pick him, which was unfortunate.
He was a little ways out, but I would have maybe liked to see him over Hadwin.
Up with Hadwin.
Or with Hadwin, because you could have had a Canadian duo.
Yeah.
But it's hard to go wrong with the guys he picked because they were way ahead of Corey. But Corey will be on there, I think, one time for sure.
And we're a little passionate because we are from Canada. Your first time seeing the show. We just happen to be down in Myrtle Beach in Florida here in the winter because you're a professional golfer, and we got to be able to golf 12 months of the year. So we're down here enjoying the weather here, but we're going to be cheering for our Canadian in the President's Cup. So we'll look forward to that. Anyway, that's it for the PGA show this week. We'll look forward to being back next week.